When I discovered this history, I got really much involved with it and to get to know more about it. 15 years ago, few people talked about this way. Always talking about Santiago's way, Santiago's way, Santiago's way. Yeah?
Mhm.
And in reality, Santiago's way was a way that used most of the original way that was called the Star's Way. Uh, I will recommend you in the end a book that was written by Annie Williams, a friend of mine. She's American, lives here. She's a researcher and an author, and she's been researching exactly the origins of these ways, till to get to Mary Magdalene. Because Mary Magdalene knew exactly where she was going to land. Yeah? That story is about a little boat with no oars, no sail, nothing with the reality. And this way calls the Star's Way, because this way have a curve like my arm. You see, a little curve from one extreme to the other. This curve reflects the Milky Way in a moment in the year, and that was called the Star's Way.
Right.
The Star's Way, as far as we know, historically, it's proven that it started at least in the Neolithic. My experience, I worked with archaeology before. It is clear that much before glacier times in the Paleolithic. Uh, for you to have an idea, we in Spain, that's another thing that few people knows about. Spain, most of Spain, especially the Pyrenees, are Celt-Iberic. It's a mix of Celt culture with Iberic culture. Knowing
Mhm.
that Iberic culture is older than the culture. And the north part of Spain, Portugal, all the coast of Spain, till Bretagne was pure Celt. Hmm? And then their religion was Druidic.
Mhm.
And this path, this way, was an important way to get to become a great master druid. You have to walk it all the way, one way and another. Hmm? The Pyrenees, going to another information, the Pyrenees is known of the birth of the mother energy. Hmm?
Okay.
Since all that long time ago. Yeah? We have in our region, we have 124 black virgins that was found in fountains and caves, in sacred places, just in a diameter of 200 kilometers. No, there's no any other place in the world that have this amount of black virgins happening in the same sierra, in the same range of mountains. There's one understanding that the birth of the sacred feminine, it is anchored in the Pyrenees. That's why Mary Magdalene came here. And the importance of these mountains nowadays, it is where a bridge that is traced from the Pisces age to Aquarius. Who managed this movement is the energy of the Pyrenees. That's why Pyrenees, as all people coming to the Pyrenees. I've been living here for a long time, and a big bunch of people are always coming here to live, and we cannot get out of here because of the energy of this place. Huh? The origin of the sacred family goes beyond till what they call the white goddess. The mythology the Greek mythology describe three works of Hercules in this region. And he got in love with Pyrene, that was the princess of this region. Now you see in the history backwards, you see lots of moments. There was Aphrodite, Artemisia, you know? Roses, the Gulf of Roses, when it started Pyrenees, is where there's a huge uh, settlement of Greek. Was the the biggest Greek colony in whole Europe after, far from Athens. There was the second biggest town, Greek towns after Athens. It is in this region. Yeah. They say that Orpheus built three temples for the sacred family, also where Hercules was around. We have the ruins. There's a lot of ruins of Venus temples, Aphrodite, Artemisia temples. This goes back and back and back. Those statues, small statues, uh, carved in mammoth tooth of Venus, they're full of findings in this region. And also, Pyrenees is a connection of two plagues, the European and the Oriental plague. This generates that we are on top of hot water all time long. Thermal waters are all over. In the region I am living, there are kind of 2,500 caves just in this region.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
first, the elder human being found in Europe was found in this region. It was dated 490,000 years old. I live by the sacred caves. That is very much connected with Cathars, obviously with Mary Magdalene Way too. Yeah? It's one of the places I'm going to take you. This caves has been using as an initiatic path by the Cathars to become a perfect. There was a higher grade of the Cathars. They passed by Endura. There was, you could say in English, endurance. There was 4 years in these caves, and each cave have a different initiation. And you see here, you feel here. Yeah. It's not just about Cathars, not Mary Magdalene. It goes that these people have been praying, doing ceremonies in these caves for 500,000 years at least. Then you can have an idea of the impregnation in these stones. In those caves, you just got in the mouth of it, you just see, wow, there's something. I'll be taking people for the caves that can, in one day, could transform their life. Sorry to take long to tell about the history beyond, because it's interesting for you to get to know the connection. Mary Magdalene was expected here. She didn't come just for, well, reality. Let's go back to Mary Magdalene. Southern France, from the west of Italy, all Provence, all southern France, all Catalonia. This was the same culture in the past. And there was a kingdom of Septimania, a very old kingdom that I think it lasts till the 8th century. There was a Jewish kingdom. Most of the main towns of our region, like Girona, Barcelona, Besalú, Marseille, they were Hebrew colonies after the Greeks and after the Greeks came before. And the Hebrew tradition was, on a way, the same tradition that comes Mary Magdalene and Jesus. There was practice, the same ceremonies were practiced, the same beliefs, the same prayers were being practiced here since 600 years before Christ. With the fall of the first temple, there was diaspora, the first great diaspora of the Jew people from the line of David. The line of David had been always persecuted by the Moses line. It was minority. They were the Essenes, for whom the Catholicism is very much connected. And Mary Magdalene, when started to be persecuted, she moved to Alexandria, but the persecution got into Alexandria. And Joseph of Arimathea, that was uncle of Jesus, some says that he was the older brother, son of Joseph, but and sounds like historically he was really the uncle. Joseph of Arimathea was the most rich merchant of in the whole Mediterranean. He deal with silver and pewter. He was a guy that didn't ask Caesar to make an appointment. He just goes straight on. He was the most respected guy in the whole Mediterranean and all the way to the islands, because he traded silver and pewter from Mediterranean to England, to UK. No? He was, let's go back a bit to Joseph of Arimathea, because the people doesn't know much about him, but he was a part of the biggest support for Jesus' way and Mary Magdalene way. Economically, he was also portals opened. He was initiating at the highest level in their tradition. And he always went in front of Jesus, preparing the portals for the passage of Jesus. After crucifixion, he did the same thing with Mary Magdalene. And he have a huge armada, lots of trading boats, sailing boats in Alexandria. Mary Magdalene, the three Marys, and they say that was quite a big community surrounding her at that time. They were all transported to France. In France, they were waiting for her and her followers. Joseph of Arimathea, a part of guiding and protecting the Marys and the pilgrimage of Mary Magdalene, he also took them, Mary Magdalene and her sons, or some say that she had three sons, other that Sarah Kali was her daughter. There's lots of information, but this is not written because this couldn't be written, because it's totally forbidden, because all the persecution for Mary Magdalene was political, because she carried a descendant of the David line, and as Jesus with her could be king and queen, and the Romans didn't want any real royal dynasty at that time. Yeah, the persecution of them were totally political. At that time, they didn't have not even have a structure as Christianism. They didn't call themselves Christians. Huh? This is after. Joseph Arimathea founded in the first century the church in Glastonbury. Everybody knows was the first Christian church that is still alive in France in Brazil. That is the old Celt Christian church. This church lasts officially to the 6th century, was called as heretic. But heretic, why? These proto-Christians in Europe, they had a fusion that was already happening from the first Hebrew that came here. Their beliefs were very similar to the Celt traditional, very similar to the Iberic tradition. And they had a fusion. But this fusion is so deep that 600 before Christ, they were already mixing and having that fusion in beliefs. Because the practice was similar, the beliefs were similar. And what happened with the Celt Church is that the daughter of Joseph of Arimathea, Anna, married with the great-grand Druid master of Scotland, that was a king. By that, he became the first bishop of the Celt Christian Church. Just to resume, at that time, they practiced their rituals in dolmens, in menhirs, in circle stones. The bishop of the first Christian church didn't ever give up being a great master druid. Well, this is, I think, something important. I know that lots of you have heard about it, but to understand what happened in this area we're going to travel, in the sacred place we're going to pass by. There's lots of legends, lots of legends. There are lots of misunderstanding, especially with Mary was a title, Magdalene also was a title. We didn't have only one Mary Magdalene. We had lots of Mary Magdalenes. And with all this reality, it made a huge confusion. Apart that all their life and their ways couldn't be registered. Because someone registered will give up a chance for the Romans to pick them up. This was all. And the places we're going to visit, the origin is prehistorical. Go further back in the Paleolithic, but on the line of the sacred feminine. Where we're going to stay in Les Contes, there's a fountain of Belissana. Belissana was a goddess, a Celt goddess. And this fountain is very, very, very well known in the past as one of the most important fountains in the Celt-Iberic tradition. We're going to stay by the fountain. The fountain is in the land. Some of you are going to sleep right in the top of the fountain. Yeah, the energy is amazing. If you go up the Mont Segur, last year, before moving definitely to here, I spent 3 months camping by the Mont Segur mountain. It's amazing. It's amazing. A part of what I lived there, Mont Segur is on a cross line of the most important pilgrimage trails in whole Europe. We have the Star Ways, you have Santiago Ways, you have the Bons Hommes Way, the Cathars Way. You have the Sentier-Cathars, that is the French Cathars Way. You have the Mary Magdalene line, the ley line. And just in the foot of that mountain, all this are crossing. And then I was amazed because I stood there camping there. And in the camping, there were people coming all day long, pilgrims. It's amazing the energy that is happening here because the people are really researching not only to get to know, but to feel this reality. And this reality is totally transforming. A part of myself that what I live here, when I discovered the Mary Magdalene way, no one talks about it. I was researching Santiago Way, a trail that was olvidado, was a forgotten path in Catalonia. And I was reading old books to get to know how it works, because we don't have only one Santiago Way. No? It's like a river, like the Amazon River. You have lots of uh, side rivers that get together to the main river. No? El caminho francês, então, hablam tanto, they talk so much about the French way. It's the newer way that doesn't nothing have nothing have to have with the old traditional way. Hmm? And to walk this path is really transforming. I have testimonies with what happened with myself was a transmutation. When I first went to Santa Bon was a bomb. The first time I went to Santa Bon, in the same year, I came back 20 times. So strong that was the experience I lived there. In the Pyrenees, the same thing. You know? I know people that spent a day in silence in one of those caves and got totally transformed. This is something that is interesting to know too, because once we are on those very sacred places, especially in the caves or Monte Seguro, the best thing to do is be in silence. Because the energy flow in the silence. That the somatic, the quantum field, you can get into the quantum field only in silence. The healing process, the transforming transmutation process, it is in silence. Because you have to, you cannot quiet the mind completely, but you have to take it by side, you know. Now, my dear companion, my mental companion, you can rest. Sit by me, but don't interfere. Once you open up this possibility, then you can have deep transformations. Uh, Not a long time ago, it was translated one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and this was a scribe in English. I don't know, escriba in Castelhano, scribe. This it was a scene, and he was a scribe, and when he saw Jesus coming for the first time as a youngster, he got so much impressed with Christ. Then he started to describe his life, his day by day life in that role. Was translated not a long time ago. And what most impressed the whole Essene community was the silence of Christ and the presence of him. That was what made all the changes, all the miracles, all the transformations, but just being close to him. It was not like the chosen one that is talking all time long, very no. Nothing to have with Christ, with Jesus Christ, at least in his last 3 years. He healed all the miracles. When Lazarus was reawakened, because he really wasn't dead, Lazarus was what passed with Lazarus was a deep initiation. That they take a portion that he got to a state of like coma for 4 days, and then is reawakened with another potion. And was total, all the process was Lazarus' process. He was alone in silence, and Jesus just opened up the gate and probably give the remedy for him, and he came back. This ritual is still used in some orders that descend from the Templars, till nowadays, but not exactly like they did. They did symbolize uh, initiation. The path we're gonna do is connected with Glastonbury, yes, because as Celts we were all related. We don't have normally what we will learn in school that these people didn't have boats, they didn't sail, they didn't know. They travel a lot. They have big boats that could cross oceans, and they were good on riding horses and walking. For them to go from here to England it wasn't nothing impossible. It was common for them. And there was in one of the castles, we're gonna be just staying very close to the castle of Arcs. There's a legend that said that Guinevere was stood there quite a long time, and also in San Salvador in Catalonia. Guinevere and Lancelot. These were all related. You imagine for the Druids to do that sacred path all the way to be initiated as a Grand Master Druid, they had to come from England, France, then get to the Pyrenees. They walk a lot. And we have this connection. It's also a deep blood connection. Huh? Because in 2000 years, this Celt and Celt-Iberic blood mixed a lot. There's one thing that I want to talk to that I think is important for the understanding, and we're gonna work deep on it on our way. Let's talk about the Holy Spirit. The paloma, the pigeon, the white pigeon, the dove, the white dove that send flames in the heads of the apostles, and suddenly they start talking lots of different languages. Yeah? Well, our understanding of what happened is that that little flame in reality was a change of DNA, was a blessing that changed the DNA of everyone that was in contact with the Holy Spirit at that time. It's not only the apostles and Mary Magdalene. No, no. They had followers, and they had this blessing. Because once Mary Magdalene received the blessing of the dove, she became the dove, and she passed the energy of the dove for everyone she met. Well, the Hebrews were not celibate. Celibate was an option. Jesus was called Rabbi or Rabbi in English. He was a rabbi. When he went to the temple and started talking, all the rabbis get quiet. He was a very important and not very comfortable for them, the politics.
Luis, I'm going to interrupt you because Jenny joined us, and
No.
she prefers if we can translate, so because she speaks Spanish. So let's see if we can do this like a little English Spanish. I don't know if you want me to be translating you, or you can
Okay.
say a little in English and a little in Spanish, however it feels more comfortable for you.
Okay. Bueno, it's good that they came right in this moment.
Mhm.
Sean muy bienvenidas. Bueno, entonces, well, as at that moment was a change of DNA, como
En este
nesse
momento
momento,
ocurrió un cambio del ADN. ¿Quieres que te lo haga por pedacitos más largos? ¿Cómo prefieres que hagamos la traducción?
sim, eu vou parando e tu vai traduzindo
Ok,
melhor.
ok.
Entonces, hubo una transformación en el ADN. Uh, just cutting this way, but there's a detail that I want to put here that's very important. Sem cortar esse ritmo, eu vou pôr um detalhe que eu creio que é importante para esse entendimento. Uh, there's one study, scientific study, and it's proven by the science. Há uma investigação científica provada pela ciência que diz in 250,000 years ago there was a change of DNA. 250 mil anos atrás houve um câmbio de ADN. But this change was not it took a long time to happen. No, the weird thing that blown up the academia and all the scientific minds, a cosa que mais chocou, o que mais impactou lá a academia quando foi provado isto, foi que esse ADN houve um câmbio de um dia a outro. Não foi um processo natural evolucional. This change of DNA happened one day from the other. It was not a natural evolutional thing. That is proven by the science. Isso foi provado pela ciência. That by that, it is possible, right? Então, the dove. What happened? Jesus was called a rabbi. Jesus era chamado de rabino, era considerado rabino, era iniciado como rabino. A rabbi in the traditional Hebrew customs and culture at that time, he needs to marry first by law and generate sons and daughters of light. El rabino, en la tradición hebrea de aquel momento, por ley, había que ser casado y generar hijos de luz. This is a point. Then, most of these proto-Christians, a maior parte desses proto-cristianos, se casaram, they married. There was a mathematician around 15 years ago, more or less. Havia aí matemático que uns 15 anos atrás, he make a count, a number. He took out a number. If the 140 proto-Christians that arrived at that time were procreating, and they want to procreate, no? Because they have to have lots of sons,
Descendants.
light descendants, né? Então, eles procriavam, eles se casavam porque queriam ter muitos filhos, porque era sua missão para transformar o planeta. Já sabiam naquele momento que havia que transformar através do sangue. Bueno, the arithmetician, is it in English? Yeah. Got to a conclusion that it's very, very difficult that an European or European descendant or that have in Asian America, whatever, doesn't have traces of that original DNA. Isso quer dizer que é quase o número que chegou o matemático é que se esses primeiros que chegaram se multiplicaram, seria muito difícil hoje em dia que um europeu ou descendente de europeu, tanto de América como de Ásia, o que seja, Muy difícil que no cargue traços deste câmbio de ADN, right? Then, what we are doing here and we're gonna do together is just remembering. Lo que vamos fazer aqui juntos, em realidade, nada mais, nada menos do que solo recordar. Porque esta informação está toda aqui. This information is all inside of you. Hmm? I worked with a abuela Margarita por uns 3 anos. E a abuela Margarita era muito quantum, era muito quântica. A abuela Margarita era muito quântica. She was very, very quantum. And she always said, Luis, you have to remember, because you bring all the knowledge in your DNA. She, a Mexican shaman, medicine woman, the first to smoke the white buffalo calf pipe, first woman to smoke the pipe that was allowed to smoke the pipe. She was far out. She was a very, 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 very illuminated person. She already knew that, and she was a native from Mexico. And then she always said, Luis, she loved the way that I was working, that I was doing the essence with the flowers. All the essences I do in powerful telluric and spiritual places where I collect the flowers and I do the essence there, and I use the waters of the cave where Mary Magdalene lived, La Sainte-Bonne. Quando hago as essências, chama-se essência de Madalena, eu sempre busco um lugar de poder telúrico espiritual alto, frequência alta, onde colecto as flores por cerca e hago a energização das flores aí. E as águas que uso são da fonte que brota de onde Maria Madalena viveu, segundo a tradição francesa, 30 anos. Perdona. And then, in reality, what we're going to live a pilgrimage. It is a pilgrimage, a gathering of goodwill people. It is it's a great possibility for you to be in touch with this remembrance, no? And in silence can open a lot of things, a lot of information, lots of transformation also. I propose you to drink the essences all the way. I'm going to take a kit. You choose by yourself. It's like a tarot card. You take the card, and each day you're going to take that remedy that deepens the connection with the sacred feminine. No. Entonces, voy oferecer as essências para tomarmos no caminho. Cada vai escolher sua essência, já não interfiro nisto, para facilitar a conexão com tudo isso que estamos falando. Tá bem? I think that's all for now. Because if I keep on, we can stay the whole night talking about it. Eu creio que está por agora está bem. Se continuo, puedo pasar a noite. Me encanta contar histórias.
Yo feliz de escucharte y estoy segura que todos los que están aquí también, they are so happy to listen all those stories and the wisdom and the magical essence of the path, esa esencia tan mágica del camino de María Magdalena y bueno, y de los cátaros y todo. Bueno, no sé si quieres que conversemos un poquito, bueno, ya durante lo que hablaste pues mencionaste los sitios, algunos de los sitios a los que vamos a ir. Probablemente, no sé si valga la pena hacer un programa, eso es algo que nosotros uh, Luis y yo already have the calendar, that the program, the where the places we're going. It's been kind of hard to, decide where to because there's so many places to go, muchos lugares a los que ir. Y pues no siempre es fácil como decir a este sí, a este no. Hay algunos cambios. There are some changes in the program. We're gonna, as Luis says, and I have agreed with him, we're going to be a lot in the silence. We're going to take our own rhythm. Vamos a caminar a nuestro ritmo sin que esto sea un apuro para ir a más sitios o menos sitios. Entonces vamos a ir de acuerdo como vayamos fluyendo, according the way we flow, is the places we're going to go. Actually, we have like three big hikings, right? Tenemos como tres subidas a la montaña importantes, que es la de la Santa Bom, la de Mount Segur, ¿y cuál es la otra?
En las cuevas.
Y las cuevas. Entonces, there are three challenge days. So we're trying to make it to make a balance with the road. I also have a problem with my knee. I know Stella have a problem with her hips. And so we're going, vamos a tomar nuestro tiempo para que no sea algo como tan forzada el camino. A ver, ¿alguna otra cosa, Luis, que se nos esté quedando por fuera comentar?
Bueno, yo camino despacito, porque yo me gusta sentir el camino,
Me too.
despacito. ¿No?
So I walk slow too.
Y todas las caminatas que vamos a hacer no son extremas. Sí, la más larga, que es Santebón, la cueva de los huevos. Yo tengo una amiga con 80, ahora está con 90 años, que ha hecho con 87 años, ¿sabe? Entonces, es posible.
Okay.
All
They're
this,
not that hard. Those hikings are not that hard. They're kind of
no,
middle, easy going. You just go slow and join the path.
yeah, everybody can do it.
Okay.
But
I wanted to say something.
you have to bring hiking clothes, hiking
Mhm.
shoes, huh? Good raincoats, because
Zapatos de hiking, chaquetitas para la lluvia.
porque Pirineus, el tiempo cambia así, pum. Estamos con 25 grados ayer y hoy estoy con la chimenea encendida. The Pyrenees change weather very quick. Yesterday was 25 centigrades and now I have the fireplace on. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to be prepared to be like kind of fresh during the day, como frescos en el día, and have clothes to be more to keep ourselves warm at night because it could be a little more yeah, layers, as you say, Estela. That's good.
Head torch,
Sombreritos.
no, head torch.
Oh,
Aparte de los sombreros, head torches. Para las cuales necesitamos luz.
oh, luces. Ok.
Es frontales.
Ok, a ver, sí, yo creo que entonces es mejor. I think it's better that each one take its own flashlight for the caves because
Yeah, I'm
I,
gonna get one.
I don't know if you have, Luis. Yo tengo luces para las cuevas, pero
Sí, aquí es que se pone en la cabeza así,
sí,
¿no?
pero si yo llevo las luces para todos, el
No,
equipaje
no,
me sale
no, no, que cada uno lo compre y lo lleve.
cada uno lleve por favor una a flashlight for the caves, because we're gonna need it. It's good that he mentioned that because I didn't know, no sabía eso. Porque yo sé que la Santa Mon y no va a hacer falta, pero la de los cátaros
Pero
sí,
ayuda. En la cueva de los huevos ayuda mucho.
ayuda, ok.
Sí.
Ok.
Y nem todas las cuevas son oscuras, porque la entrada siempre hay luz. Not all the caves are totally obscure, but we're gonna work in the obscurity. Only with I bring a candle with only one candle lit, and at the moment I'm gonna take the candle off also, and then it's very very dark.
Sí, vamos a hacer trabajo en la cueva con la oscuridad también, así que, o
Yeah.
sea, vamos a entrar con luz, pero una vez que estemos ubicados, pues vamos a hacer un trabajo también en la oscuridad. Recordemos que en las cuevas es donde uno se ilumina, entonces ese trabajo también se hace ahí.
Eu vou recomendar, I will recommend you a book. If you can get, it will be very, very nice for you to start reading now. Eu vou recomendar um livro que se podem comprar, Amazon tiene, vai dar uma ideia, para mim é o melhor livro que há de referência hoje sobre tudo que estamos falando, que é de Annie Williams, essa amiga minha. Eu fui sua guia em uma parte do livro, pero ella é a persona, I was her guide in part of the book, and she's a person, she's a researcher. Her father was an author, and she lived in this region here with the first important writers about the Mary Magdalene way. And they've been researching together. Ela viveu com os, agora já se passaram a maior parte, com os principais autores sobre o caminho de Madalena, e nessa região que vivimos, ela está aqui há 25 anos. Então, é um livro profundo de investigação que habla muito da história, dos lugares, pero como música, ela é arpista. It's a book that talks a lot about the history and all the ley lines, telluric lines, and all that. And she's an artist. She channelized the music of the stones, of the stars, and she's amazing. And her book, for me, is one of the best books you can get to understand what is going on in the region. I write it somewhere. I don't know where. In
¿Cuál
the
es el
chat.
nombre del libro, Luis?
I'm going to write in the chats.
Para
The
que quede también grabado el audio.
of the dragon. The Gardens of the Dragon Path, by Annie Williams. Não está traduzindo aún para castelhano.
The Guardians of the Dragon Path by
É uma maravilha. Porque uma coisa que não hablamos, something that we didn't forgot to speak. The Dragon Path, el camino del dragón, era el nombre antiguo, was the old name, the medieval name, for what we call here now the Magdalene line. It's a ley line. A linha de Madalena é uma linha lei que vem de los países nórdicos, come from the Nordic countries, cross around Chartres, cross in Rennes-le-Château, in Le Canigou, to the island of La Dragonera, nos Baleares. Então, é uma linha que vem de los países nórdicos, passa por Chartres, passa por Rennes-le-Château, passa por cerca de Barcelona e vai à Isla Dragonera. Era a linha zero antes de os ingleses tomarem para Greenwich. It was the zero of Paris in the past, before the English took over for the Greenwich meridian. And we are going to walk in this line. Vamos estar nesta linha. Nós vamos estar em cruze de todas essas linhas principais. We are going to be in the crossroads of all those main sacred pilgrimage ways and energetical and tellurical ways.
Amazing, Luis. Can we talk a little bit about Montsegur? Podemos hablar un poquito de lo que es Montsegur, de la importancia de Montsegur.
Vale, Montsegur é onde houve um cerco de 17 meses, onde estavam concentrados a maior parte dos cátaros importantes conhecidos na época por la Inquisição. E nesta montanha, depois de 17 meses cerco, né, que se diz? Aquele que é cerco, né? Um cerco militar, não tinham água nem comida, bueno, acabam por se entregar. E se entregam uma grande fogata, um grande fogo, e 240 cátaros se entregam ao fogo, as famílias de manos dadas e cantando. E não há nenhum grito de dor. In Montsegur, in the castle of Montsegur, in the mountain, was were the great massacre of the Cathars, where they stood in 17 months by siege, and being attacked. And at the end, they decided to give over because they couldn't survive there in that conditions, and they come down, and there was the soldiers built a huge fire to burn them, and tests of the at that time says that they impressed everyone because they were all the families with hands all handed together, chanting and throwing themselves to the fire without a scream or nothing. This is to give you an idea how they were already totally transformed. Não? Isso é para dar uma ideia de como já estavam transformados. Não? Que as práticas cátaras eram muito difíceis. Não? Para se tornar um perfeito cátaro, 4 anos nas cuevas. E cada cueva era uma iniciação. To become a perfect cátar, 4 years in the caves. Each cave is one initiation. These people were really illuminated, developed, or whatever the name you want to call them. They were saints. Yeah. That's Montsegur.
Gracias.
And Montsegur in the past was a ceremony site for the sun before the Christians. Montsegur no passado, anterior a los proto-cristianos, era um centro cerimonial ao sol, energia do sol. Era o sagrado masculino aí, né? Entonces, ¿qué más? What else?
Ya. Bueno, sí, y eso también es una muestra de la gran fe que tenían ellos y la convicción que tenían ellos en ese conocimiento y en ese trabajo espiritual que la misma iglesia les pedía a ellos que se convirtieran, ¿no? Y ellos dijeron que no,
No.
que esa era su fe y así con esa fe se entregaron al fuego cantando, familias enteras, hombres, mujeres, niños, acorralados evidentemente por la iglesia, porque la iglesia quería convertirlos y ellos tenían esa fe infinita y esa vocación. Entonces, bueno, sí, Monsegur realmente es un lugar impresionante en el que se siente esa energía y en el que, en lo particular, yo cuando he estado ahí, se pone también una intención de perdón, una intención de, porque es conectar con esa energía y al mismo tiempo soltarla y dejarla ir, porque como dice Luis, todo eso viene en nuestro ADN, nosotros lo que estamos es recordando, we are remembering this. So when we go to a place like this, to Mount Segur, it's very, very, it's a deep feeling, it's very important, and so we go also there to forgive, to release all that suffering from all these families that they got into the fire because they were so confident of their faith that they didn't want it to change to the Catholic religion of the Pope and the Christianity was pushing. Even not only Cathars, the Templars also at the end were involved in all this huge genocide. but we're not gonna talk about that. So, bueno, gracias, Luis. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yes. Now we're going with
Luis,
questions.
Questions are welcome.
can you puede conectar the dragon path to what you said about the Magdalene path? I didn't understand how come it's connected to it, why it's named the dragon path. Si puede hacer la conexión del dragon path al Magdalene path, if I understood what you said correctly.
Ok, bueno, voy a explicarte. Estas líneas ley, como lo llamo, I'm going to explain you. All this ley lines, as they call, these energetical lines, we found in the highlands passes where these lines cross. And they were marked with monoliths, with dolmens and menhirs. But where these dolmens are, 100 years beyond, was a big glacier. This glacier disappeared a few years ago. There's no way to explain how they put those stones under a glacier. Then you get to start to understand that those dolmens was marking the line, because all these ways are marked by megaliths. How come that could happen? Only if they were marked before the last glacier time. Then you can imagine how back goes, so 30,000 years or more. Those lines existed always. The human being knew how to use those lines. Bueno, a castelhano. Essas linhas eram marcadas com megalitos, como chamamos, que são dólmenes e menires e círculos de pedra. Tanto o caminho das estrelas como a linha de Magdalena. Hoy se marca com os cruzeiros de passo, com o caminho, quem ha hecho o caminho de Santiago conoce. Então, pero esto va muchísimo anterior a Maria Magdalena. Essas linhas, nós visitamos lugares que têm essas marcas puestas, que dolmens e menires que foram colgadas em lugares que 100 anos atrás eram glaciar. Então, como poderiam fazer uma obra dessa dentro do hielo? No way, impossível. Então, o que entendemos é que essas linhas estavam marcadas desde antes da última era glacial. Claro que tuvo nomes distintos. Antes de linha de Magdalena era o caminho del dragão, na tradição medieval. They had, with all these ages, the name of these lines changed, right? And before being called the Mary Magdalene line, the ancient, medieval, and beyond times were called the Dragon Path. Our region is known by the legends like Catalunya se llamava Terra dels Dracs. It was called as Terra dels Dracs. Terra dels Dracs mean in English, land of dragons. All over the Pyrenees is related with very old traditional dragon legends. Todos los Pirineos está conectado con la tradición de los dragones. Cataluña se llamaba la tierra de los dracs. Y Cataluña, cuando hablamos de Cataluña, es Cataluña pré-política, pré la división, porque Cataluña venía desde Valencia hasta Italia. Y todas las islas, Nápoles, Sicília era Cataluña. When I talk about Catalonia, we are talking about the old Catalonia that was from southern Spain all the way to Italy, Naples, Sicily, all the islands were Catalonia in the past. It is all was called Tierra de Dracs, era todo llamado Tierra de Dragones. El final de la línea es la Isla Dragonera, pero ese nombre Isla Dragonera es de toda la vida. The end of the line, it's in the Dragonera Island. Dragonera Island is the birth of where the dragons live. No? And this name of this island has been forever, much before Mary Magdalene. And the Pyrenees is all connected traditionally with the dragons.
Gracias, Luis. Sí, de hecho se dice que, bueno, siempre con Mary Magdalene, que ella viene de un linaje dragónico, ¿no? Porque siempre se le relaciona con esa energía del dragón, esa energía de la transformación, de la alquimia, del fuego, de todo esto. Entonces,
Y de la agua también, ¿eh?
las aguas, sí, porque él
Y
también el
mira,
dragón va por agua y por fuego.
el símbolo de Magdalena es esto aquí, ó. A ver si consiguen ver.
Esa es la cruz que está ahí en San María de la Mer, ¿no?
Ve.
Ujú.
Una ancla con un corazón y una cruz. Mary Magdalene symbol is this one.
Ya
An
sabemos que
ancla
vamos a
with a-
comprar allá.
Ajá, en San María de la Mer pues, tienen
Maris de la Magia.
de todos los colores y tipos.